Good morning, Boxers. We are live again. I was on a little earlier at 9:30 for our Spanish session, and I'm back now for questions in English. And I want to just make sure we give some people some time to hop on. Hello, hello. I see Lucy's on. Thank you so much for joining us. This is going to be hopefully one of many times that we go live so that we can start answering questions, so that we can see our families, say hello to our kids too. We have members from our home office team. Hello, Miss Sarah Parsons, I see you. Appreciate that we continue to get so much support from our families, from our district, so that we can continue to support and love on our kids regardless of this distance learning. Oh my goodness, my mother is making an appearance. Hi, Mom. This is too funny. Love it. And we are back. So any questions that y'all have, I'm happy to answer. Questions from scholars, questions from parents. We had several parents online earlier this morning for our Spanish session. Lots of really great questions, especially around, the expectations now that we are in distance learning. What's going to happen with graduation, and for our seniors, what's going on there. Miss Lopez is back. Hello, good morning. Um, and yes, oh my gosh, our new ninth graders. I'm so glad to see some of our new families online as well. We had some questions about the orientation of our incoming ninth graders, and we are so excited to have you. And so we hope that you continue to be just as thrilled to join the Neuwirth Boxer family. And so I will start answering questions as you have them. Feel free to put them into the chat there for us, and we will answer those. And so if you've not yet checked Parent Square, please check Parent Square. Yesterday at around 12 o'clock, we sent out a letter that has all the information you need to know in terms of distance learning. So there's an overview of the principles that are guiding us, and those are really important to us because we are grounding ourselves in 4 principles. And that's connection. We want to make sure that we are connecting with 100% of our kids, 100% of our families, making sure that we continue to be in touch so that we can provide resources if necessary, so we can provide answers to questions during these very uncertain times, and so we can continue to support the learning and growing process. We also want to be compassionate to our families, to our kids, because this is an unprecedented time that we're still trying to support our kids through learning and discovery and development, and making some really critical choices beyond high school. So compassion is so critical during this time. All of us are going through a very different situation, and we have to be mindful and really flexible and sensible in making decisions that are going to impact our kids and our families. We're also committed to keeping it as consistent as possible. So consistency is another one of our principles. We want to give some sort of sense of normalcy to our kids through routine, through consistent touch points with teachers and school personnel. And we also want to commit to preparing our kids for college and beyond. And so readiness is another one of our principles that we're really committed to. And so that was connection, consistency, compassion, and readiness. And so the decisions that we've made for distance learning and during this time are really grounded in those 4 principles. And so in the letter that was sent out yesterday, you'll see that there's more information on those principles. There's also some information on the schedule that scholars could be following. There's a lot of space for flexibility to navigate this more independent mode of learning. There's also a whole list of contact information for a variety of things. If you have questions about grades, questions about technology concerns, if there are questions about resources, mental health, your physical health, or whatever the case may be, your questions around graduation and transitioning to college, the people that you need to speak with are listed in there specifically with their contact information so that you can be in touch. And even if you don't find a specific thing that you need, you can reach out to any one of us and we will do our best to find the answers that you need and the resources that you may need to. And as a reminder, we're here to do more than just teach and to learn with kids and to grow with kids. We truly want to be a school that provides wraparound support services. And so if families are going through experiences in which they're losing employment or they're having a hard time providing food for the family or basic necessities, we want to be available and ready to support you in those ways as well. And so please reach out. Don't hesitate to be in contact. We are going through this together. You are not alone in this. And I know that the expectation of parents has grown immensely in responsibilities around supporting kids now almost as a homeschooling teacher. And I know a lot of our families didn't sign up for that, and understandably so. And so we want to be as supportive as possible in giving you the resources and the direct support to be able to navigate this new reality of ours. And so I want to thank you all for joining us today. We have quite a few people online already. If you have any questions, please put those in the chat so that we can start answering those. And if you've not yet connected through Parent Square, it's really important that you do get access to that service, because Parent Square is where we are sending all of our information so that our parents are kept informed and also connected with the resources that we have available. Ms. Lopez, our parent engagement specialist, is actually online too. And so if you have any questions in regard to connecting to Parent Square, perhaps you don't know how to access Parent Square or you don't know how to access PowerSchool. PowerSchool is really important too, because we're going to continue to post grades and update student grades in the same way that we have been. And so it's really critical that you are checking into Parent Square and PowerSchool so that you can keep on top of kids' progress. And so if you're not sure how to access those portals, Ms. Lopez can get you your sign-ons. But I believe most of our families are connected. Just make sure that you are staying up to date with the information that's being disseminated through those portals. And again, the letter that went out yesterday is in Parent Square. And so please review those text messages, listen to the robocalls. There's a lot of really critical information that will be sent out. We're going to try and limit that though, so it's manageable and you don't feel like it's a fire hose of information coming at you. And so questions that we had earlier today revolved around attendance. I do want to shout out all of our kids. We have been so thrilled with the attendance rates that we've been seeing. Our kids are getting up in the morning, they're checking in. The expectation is that scholars are submitting their attendance form by 9 a.m. And that form is an electronic form that I email out every morning. I usually email it out by 7 a.m. and kids have until 9 a.m. to submit the form. Now, as soon as 9 a.m. rolls in and we notice that a scholar has yet to submit their form, we start getting on the phone with them, because we want to make sure that our kids are safe, that they're doing well, and that they have access to the resources that they need to present themselves in class and to commit to doing their assignments. And so we start calling kids once we can't get a hold of our scholars. Then we start calling parents. And if we can't get a hold of parents, we'll start on that emergency contact list of uncles and aunts and neighbors are getting calls. It's because we are committed to making sure that we connect with 100% of our kids. And I'll tell you, our staff has been incredibly diligent in doing that. And so we've been able to get about almost 99% attendance rate, or average daily attendance, which is incredible. It's a real incredible feat given the circumstances. And so please encourage your scholars to get up every morning, to get into a routine so that they are checking their emails, their school emails every day, and that they're submitting that attendance form. It's also through their school emails that they're going to get updates on assignments from their Google Classrooms. Teachers are posting assignments and lectures and lessons through Google Classroom, so it's really important that they're checking their school email every day. We have a question from Ms. Cornejo. Says, we're still connected to Parent Square, but through middle school. When will the transition to high school for Parent Square happen so we can know the news for the incoming ninth graders? Great question. So that transition happens just before the beginning of next school year, but all of our parents who have scholars who are going to be new ninth graders next year will receive information. You should receive information from Mr. Salgado, who's currently posting as Mr. Salgado. And so he's saying, please check your email and your text messages. There's going to be an email specifically from Alliance Patty and Peter Neuwirth Leadership Academy. It'll have information requesting the specific documentation we need to process registration, such as vaccine information, any special education information, such as IEPs, verification of residency, I think. I could be wrong on that one, but the documentation that we need just to process the registration. So look out for emails, and then our ninth graders, our new ninth graders, will be invited to virtual orientation circles. Mr. Alvarez, our dean, is going to host those. And so our hope is that we can create small circles where we have a chance to meet our new kids and they get a chance to get to know us, and that they also have an opportunity to understand a little bit more about our culture, the expectations at Neuwirth, so that they feel prepared coming in for their first year in high school. And it's also going to be an opportunity for them to meet other scholars who perhaps didn't go to the same middle school. So we get a lot of our kids from middle school 12, but we also get scholars from across the community. So it's really important that we start to integrate them as one community. And so those circles will support us in doing that. And we are so excited to have all of our new incoming ninth graders. Please, please keep in touch, as we will too. We don't want to lose any of you. We're excited to have you all. So just know that, we plan on, having you all in the fall. And speaking of registration or re-enrollment, it's also really important that all of our current scholars re-enroll for next year. And the process for doing that is going to be a little different. It's going to be done online. And so we'll communicate that a lot so that no one is missed. And if we recognize that anyone has yet to re-enroll, we will be contacting directly. So don't worry if you've missed any communication. Nothing has gone out yet in terms of re-enrollment, but it's going to be important that you look out for that in the near future so that we can ensure your scholars placement for next year, because we want you all back. We want 100% of our kids back. Question around uniforms. When will we know which uniforms are needed? Stores are closed, and so we need to purchase. Yes, that's a good question. So I can tell you right now, our uniform bottoms are pretty basic. We allow solid black, solid khaki, solid navy bottoms, no jeans of any sort, no ripped bottoms or distressed bottoms, nothing faded or anything that could look like leggings or active wear or jeans or jeggings. It's really important that we give you all this information in advance so you can start looking. But it's very similar to middle school 12, for instance. We do have our specific polos, and those polos are being ordered as we speak, actually. And so we'll have those available for parents. And then all of our new scholars get a polo for free. And then if you wanted to purchase additional polos, we'll have those for you. And then in addition to the PE uniform for ninth graders, those are also being ordered. And so the bottoms are pretty basic. Again, those colors are solid black, navy blue, or khaki. Thank you, Mr. Salgado, for answering some of our parents' questions in there. I appreciate the questions that are coming in. We also had some questions around our seniors and graduation. One question in particular was, will our scholars, our seniors, be graduating? Absolutely. If they are passing all of their classes, while we don't necessarily have solidified plans for the commencement ceremony, we will be following through with graduation and diplomas. And so I think the misconception may be that if we don't have a graduation ceremony, then our kids don't get a diploma, and that's actually not the case. If our kids have successfully met the requirements for graduation, then they will receive a diploma, which essentially means they've graduated from high school. And so that is still not going to change. What we're currently working through is what the commencement ceremony could look like in this new